What's going on? I've got some orders to ship today, and hopefully this looks quite a bit better on YouTube and Facebook. We're off the GoPro now, and should be 1080 instead of 720 off of a laptop. So hopefully that looks a lot better for you guys that are watching on Facebook or YouTube. Basically, I pack my orders normally in the morning, and tomorrow is Thursday, and around here, there's going to be a lot of garage sales tomorrow. Hopefully there's going to be a lot. So my plan is tomorrow to go garage selling instead. So we're going to get these orders packed up tonight. I actually have quite a bit of stuff to send out. So if you guys that are just joining have any questions about reselling, about my store, my channel, anything like that, feel free to please put them down in the comments and let's have a chat while we're doing this. So we're going to start with my one and only Poshmark order. And most people would assume that would be an article of clothing. And if you assume that, you'd be very wrong. So what we sold on Poshmark is actually this unicorn glass picture, I guess. This sold for $13 before shipping. And what we're going to try to do is I have these record boxes. And I use these for comics, for records, for small books. I'm going to just put that in here, lay it flat, and then we're going to try to double box it with another one of these and put a little bubble wrap on there. But first, I want to just get it as flat as possible in the record box. Thankfully, this one did have a little bit of cardboard protection on the back. I actually have a second one of these, and it does not have that protection. So we're going to get that flat like so. So I definitely don't want to ship it just like this. I don't want that glass to break inside. Let me pull up this chat just in case I'm missing anything for those Facebook and YouTube viewers. But we're going to try to double box this in another one of these. So here's the second one. I don't know if this will work. I've never tried it before, but we're going to see how this works with the double box. I'd like to get, we're going to try to get one layer of bubble wrap around this thing, just to give it a little bit of extra protection. It's not a lot, but hopefully that'll do the trick and just get it a little extra more. The good thing is with these mailers, there's a couple different sizes that you can fold them into, and it looks like this one's going to work perfect for the biggest size. So it's actually going to be a pretty good fit, as long as I can get that side in there. It's a little tight. Hopefully once I get this taped up, it'll actually look pretty decent. But this was my one and only Poshmark order, and it wasn't clothing. So it was a unicorn, like carnival, like that you'd win at carnivals, glass piece. And again, normally I do my packing for all my orders in the mornings, but tomorrow is hopefully going to be a pretty good garage sale day. So I don't want to be packing orders. Okay, we're going to hope that gets there. I may put this, so since this is Poshmark, I can send this in priority stuff for free. It's not going to charge me any extra. And I think it's called the box 7. So we're going to try putting that in the box 7. I guess it's the large mailing box. So since this won't charge me any extra, I think we can get it in there. Maybe a little bit of a tight fit. I don't think that's going to fit in there, unfortunately. So we're going to send it like this, double boxed, and we're going to hope that it gets there okay. It wasn't a very expensive item at all. But that'll be my one Poshmark. Okay, let's move over to eBay. Welcome that if you're just now joining. we're getting our orders packed up for tomorrow. Let's move on to eBay. I have a couple different eBays, so let's start. We'll start with mine and Brandon's eBays. So this is our flippin' indie. And let's start with something kind of easy. Let's do these things. We got these for free at a garage sale. We ended up technically paying $1, but she was going to give them to us for free. They're 3 little vintage like candy holders. And we sold these guys for, if I can find it, I have to go through some. We got $6 before shipping. But again, we got probably 15 of these. So we should be able to make 4 sets, hopefully, because I don't remember if we had one of each. Let me swipe over so I can see these comments. Sorry if I'm missing anybody. Let me go back here. LaDollar Bean, love your content. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. There's a lot of joins, so it's hard to go through those. Hello, everybody that's just now joining in. Again, we picked these up for free, and we sold these for $6. Should go into an 8x6x4 box just fine. And if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, let me know how's it look, because I finally got the GoPro hooked up, and it looks like that it's looking a lot better than it has been. It was going in like 720 on a crappy laptop camera, so hopefully this GoPro looks a lot better. Anybody else going to any garage sales tomorrow? I know it's kind of rare for Thursday garage sale, but here in Indiana, they're actually pretty common. So we're going to throw those in here like this and just put packing paper. They don't need bubble wrap or anything like that. Okay, let me grab that packing paper. Apologize if I'm a little sweaty. Hey, Flame, welcome in. Unfortunately, I lost a Poshmark order, so I had spent the last, 20 minutes, 30 minutes trying to find that stupid order. And basically, it was a return on eBay at some point, and I left it in the package that they shipped back, and I have no idea where it is. So we're going to be shipping eBay tonight. We had one Poshmark order that I just sent out. So these are going to be 2 eBay stores. I don't think I have any on Mercari going out. So it's going to be 2 more eBay stores. And the way I handle eBay is me and my business partner. Let me put this paper in here first. Me and my business partner have an eBay together. And then I have my own personal eBay. So most of the time I'm shipping out mine and my partner's eBay. That seems to be the stuff that we're selling most. We work on that one more than we do our own personal ones. And then I have a little bit coming out of my own. Thank you so much, Mrs. Reisner, for sharing the live. I really appreciate it. Love everybody that's helping me out there, share stuff. And again, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, let me know. Does it look okay? I've been playing around with a Restream, and I just got the GoPro working. So thank you so much if you're sharing stuff. Flock down south. Let me see here. I missed some comments. I need to figure out how to get those off. Garage sales coming to an end here. Yeah, unfortunately, we have maybe 2 more weeks of garage sales, at least really good garage sales, and then we'll probably find 1 or 2 every couple days. But garage sales were horrendous. Oh, that sucks. I did not great at a town-wide sale, and then I left the town-wide sale and scored all those Harley pieces, which I actually sold today. These were candy holders. Make sure I'm not messing up stuff. So I sold all of those Harley shirts today to Rags to Riches. So they're a great great Instagram person. They have a store pretty close to me, and they hooked me up with a really good deal. So I moved all those Harleys in one lot. Let's move on to our next item. Some of these are going to have to take some box maneuvering. Let's go with this book here. If you've been following along with my journeys, we bought out an entire person's basement. We went for comics. They told us they had 6,000 comics. And when we showed up, they had a lot more stuff in the basement, including video games, vintage Care Bears, some toys. So we ended up paying $3,000 for everything we got. And we probably got anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 in just video games, which wasn't even part of the deal initially. And this book sold for $89.99. So great book here, $89.99. Probably going to have to go in this size box if it fits. It doesn't fit. I'm going to have to grab another box. Be right back. Let me grab a box. Sorry for disappearing there, guys. Had to grab a box. Where's the death pile? All around me. I've got death pile behind me. I've got death pile on the side. I've got 2 storage units full of death pile. I sell on eBay. I sell on Poshmark, Mercari. What's the other one I sell on? I don't remember. I pretty much try to sell on any platforms that I can. Unfortunately, when I have to get these boxes, I have 2 kittens. Well, they're not kittens anymore. They are cats. They hang out in this barn. They protect my stuff from the mice, and they like to climb on top of my boxes in particularly. I try to keep everything else sealed up in tubs to where they don't get their cat hair on it, but they do get cat hair on my boxes. So whenever I grab, especially for some reason they like to get on this size, I keep them up on a shelf over there. They like to get their cat hair, so I have to go through and clean the boxes a little bit. Most people don't want to see cat hair on their boxes, but I did grab a couple extra in case we need that. So let's get that book in here. Appreciate everybody that's just now joining in. Right now we're packing up an X-Men Age of Apocalypse omnibus that we got out of a basement. And I would just now run out of tape. That's stupid. I'm going to have to replace the tape. And unfortunately, this book would not fit in one of my other boxes. So this box is going to be fine. I don't think it needs the bubble wrap. But if you've been watching these lives, I like to add a little bubble wrap anyway, because I think it looks professional and it makes the buyer think you care about their item, probably more than you actually do. So let's put some bubble wrap around this book. Like I said, I wasn't super prepared, so I also have to change out my tape. And I'll show you one of the things I use. I hate using a tape gun. So probably 2 or 3 years ago, I got one of these for Christmas. It's basically like a tape dispenser that you'd have in an office, except it fits the packing tape. And I use this thing all the time. I love this thing. Let me grab that tape. It's not nearly as far as a walk. So we'll get this onto here. Appreciate everybody that's just now joining in, trying to get some of these orders packed up. And if you're not following me on Instagram, I put a lot of my finds on there as far as pictures and stuff go. And if you ever want to buy anything that you see in a reel, Instagram is probably the best place to reach out, because I'm allowed to send pictures on there. For some reason, TikTok doesn't allow you to send pictures. Thank you so much for following Creekside. I appreciate that. A restaurant that we actually like to go to in a neighboring town is called Creekside. Okay, get some packing paper in this box. It doesn't matter where you prefer to view the lives. I've been probably more familiar with TikTok. I've only been doing these for I think this is like my 4th or 5th one, but wherever you want to watch is fine. I feel like I'm able to see the comments on TikTok a little easier. What part of town are you located? Daniel Bowles, I am from central Indiana, so around Indianapolis. I'm more on the north side of Indy, but when we garage sell or we thrift, we're all over Indy. Most garage sales, it takes me about 25 minutes minimum before I can hit the first garage sale, unless they happen to be in our local town, which we don't have a lot there. Avon, I garage sell at Avon all the time. Especially, I actually like Brownsburg a little better than Avon. Avon, I feel like it's a little more spread out and it's a little harder to find deals over there. But you going garage selling tomorrow at all, Daniel? Sorry if that camera's shaky a little bit. Trying to learn not to talk while I'm packing the boxes with paper because I'm sure it's pretty hard to hear. As always, before I tape it up, got to give it a little shake. You can hear that. There's a little bit of rattling in there. Even though this is a book that probably won't get damaged moving around, I'm gonna add a little bit more paper. I don't like that package to rattle in the box. I think it looks not very professional. That's much better. This book is a big, heavy one too. But thankfully it's media mail, so it's not like it's going to cost me or the buyer very much money. And I got all my cameras set up where I'm doing my shipping, so it gets a little shaky. And I'm just writing on that box because if I don't, when I go to print the labels, I'm not going to remember what's in each one. So at Amazon, they do the opposite. Item has to rattle. Why would they do that? Because every now and then we do get like, we order our filters off of Amazon for our refrigerator. And, you know, that box is like, you know, this big, and then they put it in a giant box. I think it's the dumbest thing ever. It's a waste of space in the box, and I don't like the package to rattle around. I think it gets more damage that way. My piles are all around me. So, Daniel, I feel you. This is just my personal stuff. We have a giant storage unit full with mine and Brandon's stuff. Thankfully, though, today I had some really great sales. I sold $1,100 worth of Harley shirts. If you guys saw that reel, I bulk sold them all to one person. And then he came back and he bought another, what was it, $1,800 from me and Brandon of just clothing. How do you have your packing paper set up? Let me slide this over here. Pull this to the side. So my packing paper, and you can see it, it's right there. I buy these big rolls and I hang them from the chains right there. So when I need my paper, it comes out, nice little rip, and I can put it, throw it in the box. So that's how I do my packing paper setup. And it works really well for me. Let's move on to another item. Let's see here. This one's an easy one. Some Carhartt. We picked these up for $1 or $2. I don't even remember. I'm pretty sure it came from a garage sale. These are called Carhartt Men's Ripstop Rugged Flex Cargo Pants. They're scrubs for men scrubs. We sold these for $12.99 before shipping. And this will go into a mailer. I get these. These are really all that I use my eBay shipping credits for. I don't like the tape on eBay very well, so I normally use my credit that I get for those mailers. Need to fold these a little better. Again, make sure that I'm not getting cat hair on them, because although my cats out here do a great job of keeping the mice away, their fur is a problem. Most of the time, keeping the stuff in sealed tubs works and their cat hair doesn't get on stuff, but I still make sure I check every shipment just to make sure somebody's not getting any cat fur with their item. Let me switch this back over in case somebody was commenting over there. But yeah, hopefully tomorrow is going to be really good. Normally I go with Brandon on Thursdays. Our garage sale, during garage sale season, we garage sale on Thursdays and Fridays. And unfortunately, he was recently in a car accident, so him and his fiance have to go shopping for a car tomorrow. Welcome now. If you're just joining, I appreciate it. Let me switch over. Thank you so much, everybody that's joining in. We're finishing up some eBay orders, working on mine and Brandon's store. And then I have a few things from mine as well. Let's move on to our next item here. A couple PSPs we sold that I don't have. Brandon has those, so I can't ship those out. This was a pretty good item. This came from a buyout that we did where we bought an entire reseller's clothing inventory. And as you can see, it is a center check. Typically, you really want those center checks to be high up here on the chest, but this one's center check on the pocket. Still pretty good. It's a Nike team, so believe that's like 90s. This sold for $59.99, and we basically had like $5 into each item. So pretty good flip on that one. And we sold a lot of that stuff today. That 1,800 that I mentioned was a lot of the stuff that we bought off them. Don't judge me by my folding. I am a horrible folder. I'm not fast at it. It doesn't always look great, but it gets the job done. So this Nike center check sold for $60. And try to get in it. This might be a little tight. Probably have to do the roll here. It's kind of embarrassing. You know, I sell clothes and I can't fold them worth of crap. Whenever we're at garage sales, the people having the sale, you know, they can fold those sleeves in real quick and flip it over. And I just don't possess that skill. But thankfully, when somebody opens this up, they're not really judging you on how you folded their item. They're just making sure that it got to them safely. So we kind of got the fold and the roll going. We'll try to get it into this eBay poly mailer here. I don't mind the t-shirts. They're pretty easy to pack. It's the sweatshirts that I always struggle with. Sometimes I just give up and I put it in a box and pay a little bit extra for the shipping. Appreciate it if you're just now joining in. Finishing up mine and Brandon's store for our eBay orders. Again, I keep saying this, but normally I pack up all these orders on the morning. And tomorrow we've got any grunge hoodies? I'm sure we do. We've got so many clothes that it's kind of crazy right now. If you guys want, my links should be in my link tree to my eBay and mine and Brandon's. So if you go to my eBay, it's Retro Rewinder. Again, you can find those through my links on my link tree. And then mine and Brandon's is called Flip In Retro. That's Flip IN Retro. And that's for Flip, Indiana. So you can find all of our stuff on there that we have listed at least. And if you find something on eBay that we have listed and you want a deal on it, don't message us on eBay. Go to my Instagram and send me a message on there, and we can sell it off of eBay because we don't have to pay those fees, and we can get you a little bit better of a deal if you do it that way. And I have lots of contacts on eBay or on Instagram that I can reference if you're nervous about doing any type of business off there. This is taking way longer than it should to pack a sweatshirt, but finally got that in there. Let's get this sealed up and move on to the next item. Welcome, welcome, and hello, Green Thrifty. Appreciate you joining in. This is the Nike hoodie. Again, I write on these just so when I go to print the labels, I don't get any confusion going on. Next item, let's see here. I think this is where we're going to have to start altering some boxes, most likely. We've got 2 cars that we sold. We'll go with the bigger one first. And I'll show you how I alter these boxes. So this car is, let me grab the other one too, so you can kind of see the difference here. These are the 2 cars we sold. So this box is obviously a little bigger than this one, but I'll use the same box to ship both of them, and we'll just alter one. So we'll do the smaller one first. It should fit in here. That's pretty tight. I don't like how tight that fits, so we probably won't use, we'll have to alter this one as well. As you can see, there is just no room on the sides to add any bubble wrap or paper. I don't like that. So we'll show you how we alter these boxes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the car, I'm going to put it like so. So you can see there's some extra space here on the side where it's not going to hit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a mark with my pen to give me some room for the bubble wrap. So you can see this mark right here. Then I'm going to make a cut, a vertical cut going the whole length of the box. And thankfully, it doesn't have to be perfect. As long as I try to get it up and down and even as much as possible. So then we get that cut going right here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my measuring tape. I'm going to measure it from the right side. So I'm going to put it on the cut. And it measures 2 3/4. So 2 3/4. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the box over. I'm going to measure in 2 3/4 right here. And I'm going to make another cut. So we do that 2 3/4. And again, that's just a vertical cut going the whole height of the box. So we get this vertical cut going here, identical on the other side. And then I'm going to fold on that cut. So you can see that fold. Make sure I didn't miss any comments over here. I do have some vintage cap icing. So we have some caps in our storage unit. We'll probably run a whatnot. We've been trying some whatnots and they've been working fairly well. Then I'm going to fold it on here as well. Let me tape this up because it's kind of hard to show until I actually get the cuts made. So where I folded on those cuts, I'm now going to do a full cut. It's very hard for me to show this while I'm doing it, so bear with me here. So there we go. So that's what it's going to look like. So now it's a longer box. Get it taped up here. And whenever I alter a box, I go a little heavier on the tape because I don't want any water getting into any of these seams. Okay. Now let me open up this one so you can kind of see the difference here. So we went from a box that looked like this. And as you can see how tight that car is, there's no room for any paper or bubble wrap on the ends. And I really don't like it to look like that. So we altered that box to get something that looks like this. So now, when I put that car in there, you can see there's plenty of room up here. And there's just a little bit of room on the sides. So once I add my bubble wrap, we're going to use our thin bubble wrap because there wasn't a ton of room on the side. Most of our room is in the front now. So we're going to tape it up like so. I'm going to leave the ends because I'm going to put packing paper in here. So now, as you can see, that's a pretty nice fit in there. It's not going to move around. We're going to pull our paper. We stuffed it on the front. Then I'm going to pull that car tight into the paper so I can put some paper on the opposite side. Perfect. Now we got a nice snug fit. Top and the bottom. And the only thing that's actually moving is the car a little bit in the styrofoam in the box. This box is not moving at all. Just had to finalize a couple cuts on the top. And of course, more packing paper. Now to get it all taped up. Anybody have any really good sales today? Do you guys make any good money? Sell anything on eBay or anywhere worth noting? I'd love to hear it. I love to watch videos like mine because I like to see stuff that people are buying. So when I see it out at garage sales, I'll know what to look for. Reselling is always a learning process. I'm definitely a master of only a few and an apprentice in some. I have a pretty wide knowledge base, but I'm always learning new items. I find it pretty fun when you start buying like a new item. Like, for instance, there was one time, probably 3 or 4 years ago at this point, I bought a ton of Littlest Pet Shop toys and basically became a quick master in knowing the different colored magnets, the years, the types of animals, and then I lost a lot of that knowledge, but kept some of it. So I know, like, when you're dealing with Littlest Pet Shop, you want to look for the blue magnets. Hawk, let's go. Thanks for joining in. Hawk is my gold guy. He's where I'm taking... Whenever I find gold, that's where I'm taking it. I'm taking it to the Hawk. What's the best thing that I ever found? So that's a tough one. I have never found an item that I sold for over $1,000. Hawk prefers my golden boy. That could be interpreted a little weird, Adam. I don't know if I want to call you my golden boy. But best thing, I have found multiple items that I've sold for like $500 to $800. Hawk to it, get it like slid on that thing. Oh my gosh, yep. So I'll tell you a few of the good ones. I wouldn't necessarily say these are my best finds, but they're really good ones. I found a Cutco full knife set with a white ivory handle. And I paid $5 for those at Goodwill, and I sold those for $500. In a local thrift store where I'm at, I found the the Walkman that was featured on Guardians of the Galaxy, and I sold that for like $300 or $400, and I paid $1 for it. And then one of my more recent finds was, if you guys remember Homies, I found this toy line called Orbs, O-R-B-Z, and my Goodwill had an Orbs sealed. They're kind of like marbles, and it was Homies related in a grab bag for $5, and I sold that one. I mean, it was a set of like 4 marbles for $500, and I paid $5 for the whole bag. Yes, my local employees definitely know who I am. I go in, I say hi to Quinn. He's one of the guys that stocks the carts. He's my guy. I see him every time, talk to him. I know the managers for sure. I know the managers in a couple different Goodwills. In our local Goodwills, the managers are the only ones that are allowed to bring out new racks. So I definitely make good friends with all the managers, because I want to basically be able to say, hey, is there any new racks, any new carts back there? The employees in the back, they're what they call the producers. The producers are the ones that put the prices on everything, and they put them in the racks and on the carts. They're allowed to do that, but it's not allowed to come onto the floor until a manager is the one that actually okays it and puts it out. So I try to befriend all the managers. And I got to remember what car this was. This was the brushed. I didn't even say what I sold that for. That brushed metal car came from a purchase that Hawk actually helped me out with. He introduced us to a guy that has storage units, and we purchased a storage unit from this guy, and we paid $2,000. That one car that I just packed up sold for $85 before shipping, and that was a brushed metal. But I find all kinds of good stuff. Garage sales is probably my favorite thing, and my best income related. But we do well at Goodwills. We do good at estate sales. Goodwills out here are pricing close to resale prices. I hardly go there. Our Goodwills aren't at that point yet. There's some stuff they're really stupid on. Like Miss Me jeans is something that I will pick up all day at garage sales for $5, but our Goodwills price them for $20. What's the most you've made on eBay? I don't know. And like, I can tell you right now what mine and Brandon's store is at. So in the last 90 days, let me change this here. All orders. So I can tell you that in the last 90 days, while that's loading, I'm going to start on this box. This one, I'll tell you what it sold for in a minute because I just took it off here. So in the last 90 days, mine and Brandon's store is at $24,795. So 90 days, $24,000. My store's only at like $3,000 because I haven't focused on that one as much. But let me go back to awaiting shipment. I'm just going to go ahead and go to the bigger box on this one. That smaller car actually fit pretty nice in that smaller box. I don't think this bigger one's going to. Again, got to get all the cat hair off these stupid boxes. Those cats like to hang out on the top shelf. And they find it as a nice comfy bed, and they deposit their white cat hair all over the box. So make sure to go through and try to clean those off as best as I can. The good thing is I'm always going to bubble wrap the contents, at least one layer on most stuff that goes in the box. So even if there's a little bit of cat hair inside the box, it's not getting on the item. Where do you purchase your box materials? So this box came from my old place of business where I worked at. They redid all of their marketing, and they were going to throw all of these boxes out. So me and Brandon went with my truck, and we did multiple loads and took as many as we can. We got 2 different sizes. We got this one and a bigger one. So I've been using these for the last year. But all of my smaller boxes, so I buy my 8x6x4, and I buy a 4x4x4 and another size. I buy all those off eBay. I think the seller that I like is called the Boxery, I believe is the one I purchased from. I probably should look into doing some affiliate links, but I haven't got around to that. I'm still pretty new with just learning the lives and everything. So So nice box here. This will be a good one for this car. There's a little extra room. Once we get the bubble wrap on it and some paper in there, it won't move around though. So this car sold for, if I can find it, this one sold for $58.99. $58.99. This also came from the purchase that we did from the storage unit. So $58.99. Adam, all of my tape comes from Sam's Club. I get this, actually have it right here. I get the heavy duty Scotch. You get 6 packs, and I think I pay like $20 for 6 packs. But this is by far my favorite tape. I haven't found anything that holds the boxes together better than this tape. But I get all of that from Sam's Club. Let's get some big bubble. I have yet to buy boxes other than the tape the employees at Dollar General hooked me up with. So Brandon has been raiding the Dollar Tree. I think that's where he's been getting his boxes. And I may start looking there too, because they have a cardboard only dumpster. And the Dollar Tree is right behind our right behind our flea market. So we may, or he already does it, but I may start going and getting some boxes from there. But when it comes to the small boxes, like these, I use this box probably the most. This is an 8x6x4. I just get these in bulk and I use them so often. It's nice to just buy like 200 at a time and I can put them over there on a shelf and grab them when I need them. It's the bigger boxes that I think I'll like reusing stuff from, because I get a lot of Amazon boxes from people that I used to work with. Go to Walmart in the morning as they're stocking. I've gotten more there as well. Nice. I think Brandon's done that as well, especially at the, like I said, the Dollar Tree when they're stocking, they'll give you stuff. I don't go into our local Walmart very often. Part of the reason I don't go into my local Walmart is because I used to work at a jail. And unfortunately, I see people in the Walmart that I don't necessarily want to see, that I used to work with, I guess would be the right word. The inmates that I used to be responsible for. They're definitely in Walmart a lot, and I don't like running into them. So we always go to a different Walmart typically. If you hear me say Brandon, I have a business partner that we split everything 50-50. So he's in all of my reels. I wouldn't say all. Whenever you see a bearded guy that looks similar to me but has more hair, that's Brandon. So you'll see him in my reels. We go garage selling together. We split everything. We have flea market booths together, and we also have an eBay store. And basically what we used to do is we would do what I like to call drafts. So like we would go to an estate sale and we would buy, let's say we spent $300 at the estate sale. It's always better, especially when there's 2 of you, if you can combine everything together, they'll normally give you better deals. So let me see. How do you and Brandon source at the same time for your separate store? So anytime that we're together, we source for our together store. So if Brandon goes to Goodwill by himself, all of that stuff that he finds while he's at Goodwill is for his personal store. Like tomorrow, I'm actually flying solo for the garage sales because he's got to go look for cars. Anything that I find tomorrow will be for my store, except when it comes to video games. Anytime that we find video games, we just combine that, because we have a case in our flea market that we also have our own individual booths, but that case in the flea market is for video games. So we put all those together. So anytime that we find video games, even if we're not with each other, we do share those. Thank you, Lalo. I really appreciate it. Thanks for following. Somebody asked something else. The Furbies. Sold all the Furbies yet? Adam also hooked us up with a lady that was wanting to sell Furbies. I think we only have like 1 or 2 left, Adam. And they're the higher dollar ones, but we're already in the profit on that. We sold pretty much all of them. But also, like, if I walk into Goodwill and Brandon's there and he's got a cart full, we normally share that stuff. So anytime that we just happen to run into each other, we typically share that stuff. Appreciate the likes on the live. Thank you guys so much. I think this box is ready to seal up. I don't have any room on the top here, so the bubble wrap will be all that I need on there because it's already a little tight. How did you get to the trust point with Brandon? I'd love to have a partner. It's a lot of work for one. So with Brandon, the first time I met Brandon, we went to an estate sale. Separate. I didn't know him. And he walked up, and the reason that I was at the estate sale is because in the pictures, there were complete in box PS2s. Let me pull up this other chat. I'm not very good at seeing that one. So if you've been, no comments on Facebook in a while. But basically, we were both there for the PS2. They had complete in box PS2s. And when he walked up to get in line, I had seen him a couple times at other places. And I basically said, I bet I know why you're here. And he goes, yeah. There was like 3 or 4 in the picture. He goes, you get one, I get one. I said, perfect. We got into the estate sale. He was right behind me, walked up to the PS2s, and they were priced like more than eBay. So we didn't even buy them. But thank you. I keep I'm not very good at pointing behind me. So I keep small bubble wrap, and I keep the big bubble wrap right there. I get those from American Bubble, and I keep those on hand. I like to have, I'm a tall guy, so I like to have my stuff hanging up high, just like my paper back here. I like to keep that up high. But back to the trust with Brandon. So we were competition for a while. Every time I'd see him at Goodwill, I'd check to see what he had in his cart and stuff like that. And we just slowly became friends. And then there was a town-wide festival, and actually, we'll backtrack a little bit. There was we were both garage selling in the same town. And basically I would get out to go to a garage sale, and I would see him fly by and go to the next one. So we were hopping garage sales, racing each other. And I thought, this is just stupid. Like it's more, what's the word? There's a lot more anxiety when you know that somebody's racing you to sales. And I like to talk to people. That's where I get a lot of my stuff. So I like to actually try to get stuff that's not out for sale. So I just noticed like we were racing each other over and over. Then we went to a town-wide garage sale, and he started on one side, I started on the other. And eventually we met in the middle, and I said, just hop in the car. We'll go together. And that's when we started doing drafts. We actually first met at a yard sale. We did. And I'll tell that story too, because that's funny. What is your most favorite item to sell on the internet? Video games, for sure. But to finish this story, so me and Brandon, we just got in the car together, and we started doing what I call drafts. So we would buy stuff together. And like, if we spent $200, we'd come back to my house, and in my barn, we'd set everything on the floor. And then we would basically flip a coin. Who gets to go first? They would pull out what they wanted. The next person would pull out 2 items, and then 2 items. And we would go like that until we each had our own separate piles. And then it got to the point where we're like, you've got your pile, I've got my pile, but this one item is worth like $300. So you list it on your eBay. When it sells, we'll split the money. Then it became to the point where every day I'm sending him like $212 on Facebook. And then PayPal. Then he'd send me like $85. And it got to the point where we were just sending money back and forth so much. I said, let's start an LLC. And we created our own eBay. So since that point, it's been really nice. But we pretty much focus on that eBay now. We don't really focus on our own. This camera got a little twisted. But that's how me and Brandon like slowly became business partners and built that trust. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. Howdy. That is a huge supply of bubble wrap, Jones. I try to keep those 2, and I normally keep 4 on hand. When I get a little low, I'll order 4 more of each. What is your most favorite? I already answered that one. Like I said, I like to sell video games. I have over 1,000 video games listed on eBay. It's a good start for sure. That is a good start. We sell a lot of our stuff in our flea market booth now. So we do anywhere from like $3,000 to $5,000 in just our flea market a month. That was a good decision y'all made. Definitely grow your business from the looks of it. Yep. We get to the point now where we have to go rent a U-Haul and buy collections. This last month, we went really heavy with the buying. So thankfully, like I said, I sold all those Harleys today, and that was my personal. I found all that stuff by myself. And then Me and Brandon sold $1,800 worth of clothing today. We really needed that because we also bought Froggy Flips video games. We've got a little bit of an arrangement with him where we've been buying his video games. $1,800 in sales in 8 days on eBay. That's really good. That's definitely better than what we might be on track with that. We've been selling those cars like crazy. Now that's why I need to write this down. Before I forget, that car, I need to write it down because then I'm going to have the wrong label on. It was a Superman car. If you guys aren't following Brandon, he's not on TikTok, but he is on Instagram, and he's Indie Flip. Go follow Brandon on Instagram. I've been trying to convince him to get. So I don't have them in here. I wear a pair of Ray-Ban Metas that I use to record. I've been trying to convince him to get some. Okay, let me move on here. I'm getting behind, but I appreciate all the comments. It's helping me move along here. Where do I have that? I think this guy's in here. This is my box of random toy parts. We've got, whenever I pick up like little toys or parts, I try to put them in here. It is the red one. Okay, next item. Here we have an incredible crash test dummy. This came from a garage sale that I have not even made the reel for. It was almost a month ago now. I really need to make that. Basically walked up onto this tub and they had an original, not original, it was the late 80s real Ghostbusters car. And they had all these incredible crash test dummies. They had, I'm trying to think of everything we got in there. There was a bunch of different stuff. And we ended up paying like $20 for the whole tub. Like, we got this sweet car with it. I haven't listed this yet because I was seeing a piece that I got to try to find. But for $20, like, we've already made our money on just the incredible crash test stuff. And we sold, there's like a robot that plays cassette tapes. So this guy sold for $8 before shipping. He is Daryl. Make sure I didn't have more than, I think I might have had more than one Daryl. I know I had more than one of the characters. That must be the only one. So Daryl's going to go, we'll get the 4x4. We'll fold Daryl up and we'll fit him in this box. Yes, let me take this box, make sure I didn't miss anything, and then I'll tell the story about when I met Adam. Would you buy 2 PS1s, PS2, 2 PS3s, 2 Segas, Xbox 360, NES with some PS3, Xbox games for $600? I would. It's hard to know without knowing what the games are. I would look them up on price charting or eBay, and our margin is normally like, if it's really good stuff, we can pay up to half. If it's not really good stuff, we got to be at like a third. The games are mid, no bangers. I would probably pass at that price. But if you also saw my storage unit, you'd see that I've probably got almost a dozen PS3s hiding around, probably another dozen Xbox 360s, probably 5 to 10 NESs. So I don't need those systems right now. But if they're not good games, I probably would not pay $600. With the mid stuff, I try to be at like a third of what price charting is. And if it's really good stuff, we'll come up closer to half. But we sell a lot of that stuff in our flea market, and we don't charge price charting or eBay prices in the flea market. So Daryl sold, what was that, like $8, $6? $8. He's special. He gets one fat bubble wrap. I just paid a $1,700 for a $15,000 lot. So grateful. Oh yeah, that's good. Anytime you can make that much money, that's a good buy. And the good thing about having cash on hand is there's some stuff that people just like to get a lot of money at once, even if they're not getting necessarily the best deal on it. So that $1,700 was probably, just having that on hand that you're able to spend that made it to where you got a much better deal. Okay, let me tell a story about how I met Adam Hawk. I was at a garage sale in what I would consider a pretty nice part of where I live. It's the people that live there are typically a little more wealthier. They're nicer houses, that kind of stuff. And went to this garage sale in a more rural part. Yes, very nice area. Not too far from an elementary school or high school. I don't remember. It's not too far from a school. This couple had a big tent outside, and they had all vintage related stuff from like the 90s. I ended up getting like a 90s Batman shirt. I bought a baseball. I bought some just random stuff there. Also was looking for video games. Adam shows up also looking for video games and looking for coins and stuff. And basically there was a man and a woman. The man did not want to sell stuff as much as the woman did. So they were never agreeing. So the woman would be like, well, I have a whole basement full of stuff. And the guy's like, we're not ready for that. And then he would be like, well, I'll go in and look. And then he would go inside and he would come out and bring just like the most random stuff. Like I'd be like, hey, do you have any video games? He's like, no, I don't have video games. Then he went inside for Adam to look for coins. And then he came out with, I'm pretty sure they were import coins, came out with coins. And then he had some video games. I'm like, you told me you didn't have any video games. So I bought the video games that day. I don't know if Adam bought the coins or not. I just remember he brought stuff out. But it was always this constant battle of the woman not wanting to sell, the woman wanting to sell, and the guy not wanting to sell. We're going to fast forward. Eventually, I kept on agging at these people. Hey, can we get into that basement? Because they kept saying the basement was just full of stuff. Me and Brandon had contacts with the woman, and I had contact with the guy. And literally, I would get these messages of like, hey, are you ready for us to check out the basement? And it would be like one word, like not yet, no. Brandon would get in contact with the woman, and he was receiving pages of texts, and they were crazy texts. It'd be like, my husband's beating me. I'm in the hospital. He broke my arm. And then I'd message. I'm like, hey, how are you and your wife doing? Oh, we're good. And that's all I would receive. I don't know if she was telling the truth, but it was just this constant, like, he walked inside to get stuff. And as he was inside getting stuff, she was like, I'm going to leave him. I'm going to divorce him. And I'm going to sell all this stuff. And then he'd walk outside, and then she'd act like nothing ever happened. Yeah, they were a weird couple. So me and Brandon finally did get into that basement. And when we got into the basement, the first thing we did is we got down there, and they had it all piled up on walls. And they gave us our, you're not allowed to look at this stuff kind of spiel. And we were down there for like an hour, and then they offered us weed. So they had only talked to us maybe an hour total before this point, and they were already breaking laws around here and offering us weed. I was like, no, I'm good. She's like, what do you want, any tea? And in my head, I'm thinking, you just offered me drugs. I'm definitely not drinking anything that you made. But yeah, it was the strangest thing. Yeah, they were deadheads for sure. And I don't know if they still live there or not. I don't know if he ended up killing her or she was just crazy and was making up lies. I have no idea. But they were one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had with people. Just how different like the conversations were. Him sending stuff to me, her sending stuff to Brandon. Did you walk out with the stuff from the basement after that? Nope. I kept shopping. It was weird, and we kept looking for stuff. We didn't find that much there. The best thing we found was actually a Lisa Frank, I think it was a backpack or something. But we sold that thing for like $100. We didn't find a whole lot of good stuff there. A yard sale where things are and are not for sale. Exactly. You never knew like they'd bring out something if it was even for sale or what they'd want for it. Sometimes their prices were so cheap, it was like amazing. And then sometimes they had those Burger King, the Pokemon like little toys from Burger King. They wouldn't sell those for like 50 cents a piece. They wanted like $5 a piece, even though I showed them sold listings. They just thought, you know, this was a great item worth a bunch of money. But then they'd bring me out like video games that they only wanted like a quarter for. It was just weird. Live restricted for some audience. Regulated. I don't know what that is. Apparently I've restricted for some audiences. I don't know what's so bad about it, but anyway, I found Lufia 2 CIB in box from my local thrift store for $7. Recently, you found that, Jones? I haven't found any good video games recently. Don't say the D word or green smoke. I guess I don't understand what the D word is. Or green smoke. Obviously, I'm new to this. I said something I shouldn't have, but I guess I shouldn't have done that. Oh, gotcha. Oh, that's stupid. They really don't let you just say that on freaking live. Oh, well. Pretty dumb. Let's move on. What if I'm talking about like pharmaceutical, like that you need, like insulin and stuff? I guess they don't differentiate between that. Yeah, I get that now. I'll be careful what I say. Who does that restrict it to, Adam? Like, is it like youth or something? I may have finished. That may be everything from mine and Brandon's store. So let's move over to my store. We have a random hodgepodge of stuff here. Okay, let's move on. Click on my eBay page. You will sell loads of good games. Haha, just sold Zelda CIB. Nice. We just ran a whatnot for some of our video games, and we definitely lost some money on some. Like, we didn't lose money, but we didn't make as much money as we could, but we sold them super fast. Yeah, I live in a pretty small city as well. I think it's growing because we've got Eli Lilly coming. So this purchase is something that I've had for way too long. It was actually in my basement, and I haven't kept inventory in my basement for like 2.5, 3 years. But I sold 6 Pogs. These are Rose Bowl Pogs, Purdue University Rose Bowl. But I sold these 6 Pogs for a whopping total of $2.50 before shipping. You know, you got to protect that $2.50 item, so we are going to bubble wrap these. Let me go back to here just in case. There hasn't been really any comments on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, leave me a comment. I don't even know if YouTube will come through Restream. Pretty new to that one. But I'd like to see if it's actually working. I know the Facebook comments come in because I can see those. But I don't know if anybody's watching on YouTube or if those comments would actually show up. I'm pretty new to the Restream. Might as well put those in a box. You know, it's only a $2.50 item, but somebody is still paying $2.50 before shipping, and the shipping on it's definitely more than the item. The shipping alone was almost $6. So I might as well put it in a box and protect it as much as I can. You know, if somebody's wanting to pay that little amount for an item, they still don't want it to end up bent or damaged in some way. So we'll go ahead and put it in a box. Thank you guys for liking that live. Really appreciate that. Up to 1,000 likes on this one. I really, really appreciate that, guys. Let's see here. Of course, got to add a little packing paper. Welcome if you're just now coming in. Almost finished up here. We only have a few more things to pack. But we just packed those Pogs up and we sold those. Ended up being $8.55 after shipping. What's next? We got this hat. Look at this hat. What's this? Why am I dragging a puzzle piece into place? What the heck? There we go. Okay. Got this sweet hat here. It's a vintage women's brown faux fur. I don't even know what that word is. Cloche hat. Size medium, made in USA. Does it look pretty good on me? Covers up my baldness. We sold this hat for $7.34 before shipping. Ended up being $15.85 after shipping. So another item that basically cost more to ship than it did. I don't even know how long I've had this or where I got it, but there's no way I paid more than like $1 or $2 for this hat. It should fit in an 8x6x4. Eight by 6x4 box. I would imagine it'll fit in there just fine. Has like a leather band. It's kind of tight. That band doesn't want to fold very well. I don't want to have to put it in the next size bigger. Let's try this again. Surely I can get this to fit in here. There we go. Hopefully they get it and it's not like super bent out of shape, but it's a pretty flexible hat. So even if it is, once they take it out of the box, it should reshape just fine. Again, sold that hat for $15.85. I probably had like $1 or $2 into it. So this is a Broner hat. Moving on, we have a pair of shoes here. This is a brand that I used to pick up all the time. These are Dansko's. They make high quality like nursing shoes. And there was a stretch where our Goodwills were only pricing them for like $5. So every time that I found them for $5, I'd pick them up. This particular pair sold for $21.24. So $21.24 on that one. Again, I probably paid like $5 for those. It's not a brand that I pick up a lot now, but if I find them in really good condition and they're cheap, I still pick them up. I don't think that'll fit in here. We're going to save myself a box, and we're going to put these in the priority shoe box. Unfortunately, I don't get to use the priority boxes like I used to, because once they changed it to where USPS ground was something, it's almost impossible to put them in priority boxes. I better check this before I do this. I don't want to like get this in this box and find out that it's like $10 more to ship it. So let me see what the difference is. Let me weigh them. I'm sure it's like probably 2 pounds, 3 at the most. If I can even get my scale to turn on. Why aren't you powering on, stupid scale? Again, I just don't want to get these in a priority box and then find out that it was like super expensive to ship them. I'll alter a box if I have to. Are you in the U.S.? Yes, I'm in Central Indiana. So this would be, with this box, it'd be just under 2 pounds. Let's see what the difference is. I don't want to have to pay priority price if it's a lot more. If it's only like $1 or $2 more, then I will for sure put them in priority. So priority would run me $7.32, and USPS ground advantage would be $6. So it's barely over $1. So I will definitely put him in this box because I pay $1 for my boxes anyway. You're so lucky. I'm jealous. You have media mail with tracking. Yes, we do. But there's a lot of rules with media mail, and it really only applies. You can only ship media mail with computer programs, Movies, CDs, records, and books. You can't do video games media mail, unfortunately. Anything with advertisements, you can't do media mail either. So you can't ship comic books with media mail. Another weird thing that you're not allowed to ship is blank media. So you could sell 100 DVDs media mail, but if you had 100 blank DVDs, you're not allowed to ship those media mail. It's a weird stipulation, and I'm sure a lot of people do it anyway. How do they know if a video game is in the bubble wrap? So anything that you ship media mail, they have the ability to open it. I'm sure a lot of people do it and they get through just fine, but I don't take that chance because I don't know what would happen if they caught you. I know it would charge the buyer more, but I don't want to basically knowingly break the law on that. And then for some reason they like restrict my shipping. I don't know. I don't know exactly what could happen. I just don't want to make the chance on it, but you're not allowed to do it. I try to follow the rules as best as possible. That used to hurt me with some sales because like I used to sell, I still do. I sell perfumes, never play around with federal entities. That is correct. I still sell perfumes. Let me clarify that. Perfumes, you have to ship, if they have alcohol in them, you have to ship them ground. And it was very expensive before they had USPS Ground Advantage. It was actually cheaper to ship things priority mail. So people would have really cheap costs on their perfumes, and people would message me and be like, well, this person's only charging like $3 or $4 to ship it, or whatever the case may be. They were shipping first class. That's what it was. And I had to ship it ground because first class would go by airmail, and you weren't allowed to ship perfumes by airmail, but people did it anyway. But that was something that I always tried to stay away from. So I missed out on a lot of sales because I had more expensive shipping. But I do my best to follow the rules as much as possible. Okay, so the states are just playing on fire. Yep, that's exactly right. That's with tracking. So what do you mean, Jones? That's with tracking. Okay, so the states are just playing on fire on eBay. That's with tracking. Not sure what you mean by that. Apologize if you've commented on YouTube or Facebook. I'm not very good about going and looking at that feed. Is this just a Facebook Live or whatnot? Rockin' Autism, is this just a Facebook Live? Nope, this is just Facebook. I'm just showing stuff that I packed up, that I'm packing up for my orders going out tomorrow. I have garage selling tomorrow, and I normally do this in the morning. And I've been going live in the mornings, and I thought I would do it at night because I had a lot of stuff to go out. But I'm not selling anything tonight. I've thought about, so Adam, he does TikTok auctions. And I've considered trying some type of auction with some of the stuff I have. I just don't know how I would do it with just myself, because I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done behind the scenes with when you're listing items and stuff. Not necessarily listing it, but when you show an item and somebody buys it, I would have to pause everything and write down who bought it. And I know he normally has a helper with him on that. I just don't have that ability. I'm sure my wife does not want to come out here after the girls go to bed and help me do something like that. Okay, do I have anything else that needs to go out? Poshmark, I did not. Well, I had another thing on Poshmark and I couldn't find it because I'm an idiot. Lost it. eBay, let's check that. Bet us Canadian take the risk with letter mail. What is letter, like, what do you mean letter mail? What are you referring to that by? Ooh, I sold some. Oh, I just sold. Oh, wait, where's that train at? I've got 2 items. I just sold a pretty good item, actually. No tracking. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't want to ship anything with no tracking. I think it's the equivalent of media mail. I've got 2 items to grab. Where is that at? I don't have my SKU on that one. I'm not going to try to package that tonight because I don't know where it is. I do have one more thing I can grab, though. Pardon me. I'll be right back. I have to walk a couple rows over. Sorry, I had to step away there. I'm probably gonna have to step away again because I gotta find a box for this thing. It's big. I sold this train set. This came from a garage sale, and I paid $10 for it. And I don't typically look up stuff at garage sales unless it's priced pretty high. And for me, high would be even like 15 or 20 if I'm not familiar with the item. 10 is kind of cutting it, but with a new in-box train set, when they said 10, I just knew that this would be worth more than 10. So I didn't have a problem paying that. And we sold this train set for $89.99 before shipping. Ended up being $113.64 after shipping. And I don't know what I'm going to put this in. It's pretty big. Before I walk over and find a box, let's talk a little more, though. You ship 80% of your games with no tracking? Holy cow. Yeah, I would never do the no tracking. That's... Ooh. Oh, you just saw the video on the train set today? That was a good video. That lady was really cool. I did just a small clip of her as well because she basically had the mindset that she has a garage sale to move stuff. So price it cheap. And when I posted just that clip, for some reason, people thought that she was complaining. I don't know why. It was her garage sale. She was telling me that her idea is that if you have a garage sale, you need to price it cheap. Maybe people thought I was the one having a garage sale and she was complaining. But she was a super cool lady. I bought a lot of good stuff off her. I made 20 grand in sales and maybe got scammed $150. Yes, they are known to be a little nicer. I feel like Canadians wouldn't try to screw you as much as an American would. I mean, I don't even know if I bought something and it showed up and there was no tracking. I don't know how I would handle that. Like, I would have the urge to be like, oh, it didn't show up. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's just the truth. People aren't super honest around here. I don't really buy stuff off eBay anyway. When I collected video games really heavily, I never bought video games off eBay. I bought a couple PC Engine games just because I could never find those, but I never really bought stuff for myself except like packing materials. I need to grab, I don't know what this will fit in. I don't think it'll fit in this box. It's too long. Let me go grab a big box. I apologize for stepping away again. I know it's probably not fun watching me walk around the barn, but hopefully this box will, oh yeah, that'll do it. That box will do it. Karma is real. So if someone steals from me, the universe will be blessed. You know, the funny thing is, if you guys watch my reels, people tell me on my reels all the time, karma's real, karma's real. Like I get, you know, I believe in karma to an extent, and everybody has different viewpoints and opinions on what is good and what is bad behavior. Like probably the number one video that people kept talking to me about karma was when I bought those, there was 2 rings that I actually sold to Adam. Basically what happened is went to this garage sale and they had nothing really out that we were interested in. I got to talking to the people and they said that they had some old cycling shirts. So the guy went inside to get cycling shirts for us. So while we were waiting, we're standing at a garage sale. You just start naturally trying to dig through stuff and look instead of just standing there with your hands in your pockets or something. So I started looking through that box of cables. So there was a box of that had cables on top, and then under those cables were all kinds of stuff. There was a cross pin set. There was a box that had some jewelry in it. There was a remote. There was just random stuff. So I found the box that had rings in it. I literally, I use glasses to record. Excuse me. And I have very limited space for recording. It was before the update came where I could record for 3 minutes. So you could only do a minute of recording, and they ran out of battery pretty quickly. So basically what I tried to do is only record when I find something. So, or if I knew I was going to ask about video games, because sometimes I like to show the part where I ask because it's not out on display. So basically what happened is I found these rings. I pull it out of the box and I open it. And I was like, oh, there's rings in here. And Brandon, who was standing to my side, said, there's what? And I was like, there's rings. The lady is like watching this whole interaction. She does not care one crap about the rings. She hears me say there's rings. She doesn't even like request to see the box or anything. She knows that I just found rings. I show Brandon and he's like, oh, okay. And he hands them back to me. So I have the rings and a box in my hand, and I have the cross pins in my other hand. So I said, so what would you want for the things in the box? Meaning these things I'm holding. And she said, I just want $1 for the whole box. I was like, okay, sold. She knew there were rings. So it was made known to her that there were rings in this box. Bought the rings. We had no idea if they were gold, if they were real gold. Took them to Adam. If he's still in here, he's great for gold. Follow him. He does great auctions. Basically took them to him and said, hey, we don't know if these are real. He did the test on them and he's like, yeah, these are real gold. And I think we got like $200 for them. So we paid $1. And all the comments were, karma's real. You screwed this lady. These are her dead husband's lost rings. Like so many assumptions about this person that are just made up. Like you have no idea. This person lived in a very wealthy area on a lake. They probably bought these rings from a garage sale themselves or something, but she knew there were rings in there. But a lot of stuff about how karma's real and how I'm such an awful person. But then the next day, or as we were taking those rings to Adam, the karma was real because we met a new contact that got us a storage unit that we paid $2,000 for that we're going to triple our money. So if karma's real, it worked in our favor that day for apparently telling her that there were rings in the box. So the next time that I found rings, I went above and beyond to make sure on video the person, that's what people do. You think you're going to be liked being, I don't think I'm going to be liked at all. The videos, I'll readdress that comment. So the next time we found the rings, I went above and beyond. I said, hey, I'm pretty sure these are gold. Are they wedding bands? She's like, yeah, they're my husband's, who I knew the lady. And her husband had passed away. I was like, you're sure you're okay selling George's wedding rings for this cheap? She's like, yeah. She also sold us a Masonic ring. I was like, so did George buy this ring back in the day or did you? She's like, I did. I was like, so you know how much this was worth back then? She's like, yeah, I'm the one that bought it. So I went above and beyond to tell her how much I didn't know how much the stuff was worth, but basically to say it's gold. I'm pretty sure it's real gold. It's real silver. And that you're sure you know that you're getting rid of these wedding bands, all that stuff. I still had comments about how karma's real. You stole from this lady. We took all the money so we basically took all that stuff to Adam. We got $500 for all the gold. She had earrings and stuff like that too. She had a Ronald McDonald in her backyard. We would never pay $500 for Ronald McDonald, even though you could technically sell him on eBay for like $1,000. The ones on eBay were in much better condition. But we took all the money that we sold from those rings and took it back to her, and we bought Ronald for $500. So basically, we got Ronald McDonald, a 6'4" fiberglass Ronald McDonald. We got him for free, but we used her jewelry to fund the Ronald. So we got it for free. So let me address the comment from Jones here. Make sure that there's nothing on this other one. What up, Limestone? Sorry, I didn't see your comment. I'm pretty new to this, so I'm going back and forth if you're still even here. Appreciate you joining in. I'm glad to see the YouTube's working. So Jones's comment was, that's what people do. You think you're going to be liked being a reseller. It's funny because a lot of the comments will be like, well, everybody agrees with me. Look at the comments. The comments do not tell the story on any video, because if you look at the likes and the number of views on a video, they always outweigh the number of negative comments. And that's what I try to explain to people. If you look at the number of likes, it's like, obviously everybody doesn't agree with you. The most negative people in any room are always the loudest. So the people that are complaining are obviously going to be the loudest people because they feel like they have to make their opinion known to the world. I watch videos all the time, and I can't even fathom like not liking a video and then taking the time, wasting the time to comment on it. Like, I think that's just the dumbest thing ever. If you don't like a video, don't comment, especially when you're saying stuff about like, well, you're an awful person because you're making money off this garage sale person. You realize your comment is helping my video do better, which in turn is going to pay me more. It just makes no sense. So I always find that funny. That'll be like, oh, the whole comment section agrees with me. The whole comment section is just negative people for the most part. Like, I watch videos all the time. I was like, that was an awesome video. And I don't think to comment on it because I think it's a waste of time sometimes, especially if it's a negative comment. If you don't like it, just don't watch it. But all these people on your TikTok mostly work a 9 to 5. They're miserable, bro. It's true. Most people, they'll be like, get a real job. Like, it is a real job. I pay health insurance. I have benefits of, having a flexible schedule. It's silly that people will make those comments. Let's see here. Wait till people find out Walmart. That's another thing, Flame. Perfect thing. A comment that you'll see on multiple resellers' pages will be something along the lines of, resellers are the scum of the earth. Like, I see that comment on mine. I see it on other people's. I go to many estate sales in the Chicagoland area. I am a little further south, Johnny. I am down in central Indiana. I've heard the estate sales in the Chicago area is really good, though. And I'll address that in just a second. But Flame, I also say the same thing to people. They'll say resellers are the scum of the earth. I'm like, oh, so you don't support resellers? And they'll be like, absolutely not. It's like, oh, so you make your own clothes, you raise your own animals, you slaughter them, you grow the feed for them. Like, those are all resellers. If you go buy anything from a store, you are buying it from a reseller. It's just the fact of the matter. And there is a big difference between a reseller and a scalper. That is another comment I see all the time. A scalper is somebody that buys something that is in high demand in limited quantity, and they sell it for higher than the MSRP. That is what a scalper is. So if you go, like when the PS5 first came out, if you buy that PS5 for $500 or whatever it was, and then you in turn are selling it for $700 because nobody can find them, that's a scalper. If you go to a pawn shop and find a PS5 for $300 and then you sell it for $500, you're a reseller. It's not scalping. You're not taking this extremely limited quantity and selling it for higher than MSRP. And scalpers are really selling tickets. That's what most scalpers are from anyway. Okay, I'm going to respond to Johnny's comment over on YouTube. He mentioned going to estate sales. Estate sales in where I'm from in Indianapolis are really tough because on most estate sale days, you could only find like 3 estate sales. So everybody that wants to hit those estate sales are hitting the same couple. So like one of the estate sale companies we like if you show up on time, you're like number 200 to get in. That's if you show up on time. If you show up early, like we've gotten there an hour and a half early. We've still been like 23 in line, 30 in line. It's really hard to do estate sales in Indianapolis. But I've heard that the Chicagoland area, that Chicagoland has so many estate sales that you can actually get in to them a little easier. So I really want to try it up there sometime because I've heard the estate sales are pretty good. Just you have less competition because there's way more estate sales to go to. I really need to get this into the box. Let's get some bubble wrap on this thing. I kind of forgot. We had this train set, if you're just now joining. We sold this train set for like $90. I need to get some bubble wrap on it and get it in the box. I appreciate you guys that are commenting. It really helps me move along. Obviously, it's not helping me continue on my shipping, but I like to talk to people. I like to talk about what I love, which is reselling. It just depends on what items are pictured. I'm in the western Chicago suburbs. Just depends on what items are pictured. So like if they had a bunch of video games, like is there still like, you know, hundreds of people showing up? Is that what you mean, Felix? I always find with, especially garage sales, you'll find that garage sales are my favorite thing in the world compared to any type of sourcing. But with garage sales, I rarely, very rarely actually look at what is listed at a garage sale. And we use Yard Sale Treasure Map, and Yard Sale Treasure Map will put up like pins on a map, and we basically looked at wherever the biggest like concentration of garage sales are, we'll try to head to that area, and then on the way to the area, you'll pass non-listed stuff. Exactly, Felix. Unlisted garage sales are number one. If you can find a garage sale that was not listed on the apps, it is by far the best thing you can find. That Harley haul came from a garage sale that I found at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Technically, it was like 2:45, but I only found it because I saw a sign on a telephone pole for it. So people will ask me in my videos all the time, like, how do you find your garage sales? I drive. I pick an area and I drive as much as I can. That's why I have to pay so cheap for my items, because what people see on a video is me, you know, getting an item that I'm going to 5 times my money or 10 times my money. What they don't see are the 2 hours that I drove 45 minutes north of me and found nothing. Or I spent the whole day driving around Indianapolis and found nothing, and then finally found blow molds at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So yeah, I got to make more money on that stuff because I just spent my time and my money getting to that point. Barry, when I find unlisted sales, the listed ones are flooded with baby clothes and baby toys. But do you stop flame? Because Brandon will actually pass up. So when he's by himself, if he sees like a garage sale, like he drives up and he's like, oh, it's all baby clothes. A lot of times he'll drive on. I stop at every sale because I find that if you're able to talk to somebody, you have a chance to buy stuff you don't see. So I make sure that I always stop at all the sales. Every week, there's up to 20 estate sales in a 50. That is freaking crazy, Johnny. 20 estate sales in a 15-mile radius. I don't know technically what Indianapolis's radius is, but we're lucky to have 3. But you're very correct when you say if there's only a few going on, there could be lines for hours and nothing left after a few hours. Yeah. We use estate sales as I talk a lot with my hands. Sorry. We use estate sales as a last resort. It's always garage sales are a priority. And then in the wintertime, when there are no garage sales, that's when we hit our estate sales. Oh, this is a perfect snug fit. Now, this box is bigger than the 12 by 12, so I definitely have to cut this down as much as I can. I am not going to add any paper to this because this box is bigger, and this could end up screwing me on the shipping. So show another way when I cut stuff down. Basically, if you're not familiar with like how to alter boxes, what I do is I cut down these corners all the way to where basically the item is. And one way you can do it is go from the inside and just start where the item is and then cut up. Do that on all the corners. So now you can see how I've cut these corners here, and then I'll do cuts to connect all these corners. And I just try to make it as even as possible. It doesn't always come out the way I want, but if you used a tape measure and measured it properly, it would look better, but that takes a lot more time than the way I do it. I just get my cuts in and I go. I drive 7 hours a day, Thursday to Saturday. I don't drive quite that much. Well, I mean, technically I do, because I start my garage selling day about 7:30 in the morning, and I drive until about 3 in the afternoon. So, yeah, that's about 7 hours. I do the same. I don't do Saturdays though. I try to save Saturdays for family, so I only do Thursday and Friday. I definitely stop at everything. I'm already there. Never know what you can find. Exactly. The best finds come from the stuff you don't see. If you can talk to somebody, you can buy stuff you don't see. Let's see here. Johnny said, I searched junk drawers and buried vintage toys for cheap, along with old slot cars, among many other cool finds. I've done well. I haven't found slot cars in a long time, but I have done really well on those in the past. Okay, finally taping up this box. It's been a while that I've been trying to get this this train set in the box. But the conversation's been great. I love the comments I'm seeing tonight. You guys are really helping this live move along and provide some great topics to talk about. And I got to learn to stop talking when I pull the tape or grab the paper. I know it's hard to hear, so my apologies on that. Thank you if you're just now joining in. I appreciate everybody that's been here, especially for the long amount of time. Is there any like types of videos that you guys would want to see me do? I've been mainly doing the, point of view garage sales, but I've been considering some other topics to talk about, like more instructional stuff. Hey, thanks so much, Flame. I really appreciate you helping drive these lives. You've been a huge help in here with all the conversation. I find I don't have many callbacks. Do you have better luck people reaching back to sell items? Felix, how do you handle the whole conversation to get the callback? Do you leave your number? Do you leave a card? Do you get their number? How do you do that? And then I'll tell you what has helped me tremendously when it comes to that regard. So let me know, how do you, Johnny, did you just give me a gift or something? I've never seen that. You don't have to give me money if that's what that is. That's crazy. I do appreciate it though. Leave any name. Sorry, I'm super new to this, Johnny. So stuff pops up on the screen. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Leave any name. Leave any name. Do you mean leave my name and number? Is that what you mean, Felix? Leave my name and number? Thank you so much, Johnny. I feel like while I'm doing these, leave my name and number. So this is the number one tip that has helped me with callbacks. And it can feel a little awkward at first, but what I've started doing is I'll do the whole spiel of, I'm looking for this, this, and this. And they'll be like, well, I think I have some of that stuff. Could you leave your name and number? And as they're grabbing a pen, I say, is there any way that I can get your number and I'll text you so you'll have mine and I'll have yours? That has made my number of callbacks exponentially grow, because what I'll do is every month or so, I always send a text now. So when I go to a garage sale, they'll say, leave your name and number, and then I'll text them. I'll text them their name and then what I'm looking for. So like if I find Mary, she'll give me her number and I'll say, hi, Mary, this is Trevor. I look for this. And then in a month or so, if I haven't heard back from them, I go through all the people that I've sent text messages to. So I'll do like this big thing of, hey, I met you at your garage sale. That was about a month ago. And I have gotten a lot more leads that way. So if you can do it, it can be a little awkward when you're like, I could leave my name and number, or you could just give me yours. I've never had somebody say, no, you can't have my number. Start trying it, because it has led to way more purchases for me and callbacks. So give it a try. Get their number and send them a text. That way you can refollow up with their items. So it only took like an hour, but I finally got that boxed up, got the train set. This has been a great live. I appreciate everybody that's hung out with me tonight. Johnny, Felix, and Flames. You guys have been great. I think Flames already left, but I really appreciate it. This was a train set. I've slacked a little bit on my actual reels. I've got a bunch of footage, and I just haven't gone and made them into reels. I really need to do it, though. Try it out. Let me know if you start doing that, and let me know if it works, because it has worked out huge for me. But everyone's different, so you never know what'll work. But it's definitely something that I try to practice in my everyday garage selling. So, Johnny, are you going to any garage sales tomorrow? Is there any stuff going on a Thursday? Say, down here, we have a big festival coming up. So I will be hitting that festival Thursday and Friday this weekend, and then I'm going back next weekend and hopefully finding different sales. But there's like, I forget how many different towns participate. So it should be pretty huge for us. Unfortunately, though, we have to kind of weed through all the vendors, because there's a lot of vendors that set up, and they're not great for necessarily finding deals. But every now and then, the vendor stuff does pay off as well. I appreciate you. If you're just now joining in, welcome, baby. I just packed the last thing up. We're just finishing up with some conversation. So if anybody has any other questions or things they want to say, this will be the time to do it. And if not, I'm going to be heading out. But I'd love to talk a little more. I did just run out of my water, though. Let's get one more question. Anybody else have another question for me? I'd like to answer one more before we head out of here for the night. And again, if you missed it, I talked a lot about Brandon earlier. Brandon's my business partner. Go to Instagram and give him a follow. He is, I think he just passed 200, but he definitely needs more on there. Maybe if we can get him some more followers, he'll start making some reels. I've tried to convince him to start making some reels. But his name is IndyFlip. 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 Okay, if nobody has anything else, I think I'm going to head out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found it somewhat entertaining, somewhat educational, and I am super appreciative of everyone. And I haven't done the best job at looking at this camera, so my apologies if you guys felt neglected on YouTube. I have it set up to where my TikTok is above the GoPro, so it's a little awkward to try to look in the middle. So I wasn't neglecting you guys. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.